is 8:46 p.m. PST, Monday. The date is June 23rd, 2025. This live stream should roll until tomorrow morning. This is a consensual recording of Ms. GWEN pursuant to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Be advised, I'm not an employee of the FBI, but I've been authorized to state I'm an informant. I'm an informant on the Everett Police Department, as well as my multiple times convicted stalker and abuser, and some other individuals, all who have been aware since 2017 that every felony they've since made actionable during the 300 plus days of illegally detaining me, indeed reported as being threatened by them to the FBI in 2017. There is only one felony left to be made actionable, and that is my murder to be deemed a suicide, something that hinges on the Everett Police Department preventing this live stream from rolling, something they've been actively doing all day long and practicing ways to terminate, as well as perpetrating a series of felonies in order to prevent any sort of live stream access, particularly with regard to the last kidnapping charge that they're facing, which took place in March 2025, which was reported in 2017, and it was reported in my August 14th, 2024 tort claim and in my July 2024 tort claim. And it was to be made actionable so that they could unlawfully enter and shove their USB devices into my devices, block me out of all of my accounts, and acquire BIOS hardware access, root kernel access on top of their Cisco network, Verizon, man-in-the-middle, chip-to-chip hacks and criminality. If this live stream ends for any reason without me orally and explicitly telling you the end time, be advised that I did not end it, and that the domestic terrorists of the Everett Police Department, who have been occupying the condo directly above my home of 13 years for over 3 years to terrorize me on average 5 days a week, leading to 11 months of cease and desist letters up until August 2024 when they began illegally detaining me. Since then, they've illegally detained me since August 6th of 2024 for over 300 plus days. After their last kidnapping was made actionable, I returned to my home as I had no other option to continue to be illegally detained here, and was locked out of all of my accounts. They've prevented me from acquiring food and basic necessities for months now. I had a stock aid, spelled S-T-A-L-K, not S-T-O-C-K, and that ran out at around 300 days, and currently surviving on a sustenance of Gatorade, Rice Krispie cereal, Apple Jacks, very old and expired yogurt that was frozen, and about half of a bag left of Garditas. Now, that being said, their target date for that final remaining felony to be perpetrated is slated for tomorrow still, as far as I know. They did have 3 different incidences earlier today at 7:40 a.m., at 10:50 something a.m., at 12:50 something a.m., and currently, right now, at this very moment in time, they are actively trying any and all hacks that they can to prevent this live stream from going straight to YouTube, but rather to pass through them so that they can pick and choose what goes to YouTube and what does not. Still mistakenly believing that this isn't going directly to YouTube in real time, which it very much is, according to the Federal Bureau of Investigations, with or without their encoder. So again, if this live stream ends for any reason without me orally and explicitly telling you the end time, you know who's to blame. You also know what their plans are for tomorrow. Now, there's a lot more information. Everything I've said is true and correct. And if I told you the details and went over it right now, you would not believe me. So I advise that you go to the post section on this YouTube channel. Read the eldest post. I believe there's only 3 posts. Read that one, and it's going to tell you everything you need to know. And then you can head over to youtube.com/mysticgwen. Watch the 2:16 3 a.m. debrief, the 12:30 Mystic GWEN versus the North Everett Precinct of Fraudsters video. Just under 4 hours total running time, less than 2 hours for each. You'll be fully abreast of the situation, and be advised, as I've stated, they've made actionable every felony reported to the T, exactly as reported, including doing it while rejecting dozens of legitimate police reports in order to perpetrate those felonies. They continue to block all communications, and they believe that because of their excellent hacking abilities and criminal conduct, that no one is going to rescue me and that they're going to get away with it. And when I say they believe, I mean, according to the FBI, a small handful. A small handful haven't come to terms with the fact that they will indeed be in prison for the rest of their lives without parole. And a small handful believe that they're going to be able to shoot me in the skull without video or audio footage, and this will all go bye-bye. So remember, If the live stream ends for any reason without me orally and explicitly telling you the end time, I didn't end it. The Everett Police Department did from directly above my condo. You can also read the description in this video. I'm just keeping the descriptions as of late, just briefs of what's going on during the video or the day that the recording is taking place on. So I'm going to cut and paste in the chat here a description of all of today's noteworthy activity from my end. Also, as a side note to the whistleblowers, in the event, and I don't know this is going to be the case because I haven't been told at all that I get to go to the fancy hotel and get room service and a pro diem of $250 a day from the Bureau, like you guys get to. But in the event that I get to too, and we're allowed to talk, something which I don't know if that would be the case, then I'm looking forward to eating well and drinking mojitos, man. And woo, man. Man and woo, man. I know there's at least 2 whistleblowers upstairs. I speculate there's more than that based on the maneuverings of the Bureau in the last 2 hours. Okay, so like I said in the video and showed you the HP Chromebook. Oh, we have a visual delay. I'll have to clock that. Has been sitting this whole time in power wash mode. So we'll log back into the account that they forced onto their Google workspace, named the Google Jacuzzi, which should be renamed the EPD Inflatable. Inflatable Jacuzzis. Ridiculous. That shit popped, son. That shit popped before it blew up. Y'all bought it patched at a garage sale. And then instead of splurging for good quality patches, we just threw duct tape on it, didn't we? Didn't we? All right, video delay. About a 5-second delay. Not bad. Also, shout out to the whistleblowers. Today was stressful. I know it looked like I was just napping all day, but it was stressful. Was it not? Fuck. Right now, this live stream is not set to public, so the only people that can watch it is everyone at the Everett Police Department that's pretending to be my devices, myself, the Bureau, and the agency, as well as the NSA. Oh, and anybody at Google that feels like they prefer saying they work at Google. So I'm logging in once again to the only email address that they've rendered obsolete and useless, but still let me log into. Unit 207, NEP, detaining me for 300 days. Part of the reason why I'm doing this is I'm running a little test of my own. I'm running a test on what the Bureau will and won't let me get away with as far as entertainment goes during this fucking bullshit experience of waiting to see who the Bureau is going to be charging with attempting to murder me, which is what's going on. The one and only felony reported in 2017 and in August and July 2024 that has not been made actionable. I repeat, the only felony that has not been made actionable. One more time. The only felony that has not been made actionable. It's saying it can't find my email account. Detaining me for 300 days at gmail.com. That's the right email account. Also, to be clear, some people watching this might be like, oh, well, you don't seem too scared. I am at a place now because of the years I've had to be the victim of the Everett Police Department, and particularly the last 300 plus days, where I'm so disgusted with the cavalry of officers and their conduct as human beings, not to mention, obviously, conduct that is completely contrary to what any and every officer should be. You're a child abuser, you're a stalker, you're a thief, you're a property destroyer, you're a fraudster. You do not deserve a badge. You deserve someone with a badge to put you in prison. Conduct unbecoming of an officer by hundreds of counts. Conduct unbecoming of a human being by hundreds of counts. So I'm literally just been waiting for my door to get broken in, and whatever trigger happy police officer has decided that he's going to be the hit person to put a bullet in my brain, but also reminding myself that the Bureau is going to put a bullet in his brain or her brain. when she or he reaches for their holster. We're going to give Google all of the permissions that they could possibly desire, but it doesn't really log me into this account. The Everett Police Department's Google Workspace is set up to just let them say that this is an unregistered device and then try and get me to change the passphrase for the encryption that's on this device, which is the only device that should be legally signed into my son's email account where the live stream is running. That's why they wanted the workspace so badly weeks and weeks ago. Weeks and weeks ago, a little girlie upstairs kept trying to force me to agree to be on the workspace. I never agreed. She found a loophole, a way to force it onto the pre-installed operating system, which they control. And then she set it up so all of the devices sync, including the 20-something upstairs that are logged into Indigo's account illegally. And this. But you know what else is? The Bureau and the sheriffs. And from the Bureau and the sheriff's end, they see each and every device, not what the EPD wanted them to see, which was just Chrome operating system. No. They know very much every keystroke that is actually made from this Lenovo ThinkPad, past, present, and future, as well as from the HP Chromebook, as well as from your iPads, your iPhones, your notebooks, all your other devices. That being said, it is a scary time, though, because there are, at last count, over a dozen individuals going to prison. And every single one of those individuals were already named. And some of them, not all, the Bureau has said only some of them still believe they're going to proceed full speed ahead and get away with it, including my murder. So I literally have just basically accepted the fact that I may or may not get a gunshot wound. But I refuse to die from the gunshot wound. They've already started downloading on this device. Look at that. Google Play Protect turned on a feature. Sync's not working. Is turned on. This feature protects blah blah blah. Installing 5 different applications that the domestic terrorist upstairs want on the Lenovo ThinkPad, so they're installing it on the HP Chromebook because they have it rigged up so that they can perpetrate felonies without immunity while pretending to be me from these devices. And they still don't understand, only some of them, only some, they still don't understand that that plan has never actually worked. And instead, they've all been giving the FBI exactly what's required to put them behind bars for the rest of their lives without parole. 35 to life. But the Bureau did say that there are some officers only going to prison for 2 to 5 years who didn't blow the whistle. I think that had to do largely with people involved in the March kidnapping. But that's my speculation. I have another app.com Android print thing that I can't end. Android local transport that I can't end. These are some of the things they were using earlier today on that device to terminate live streams while sending people to my house to try and murder me. and to test out how much time they would have for tomorrow, the target day. Google Android videos, I can't end that. App books, going to Glut. And they've got their Linux machine right here. Crostini Penguin. Crostini Penguin. That's what the bureau said about that. Service Android process store. All these Android things I can't end. Even though I'm not connected to the internet even. And I can go into the Play Store and remove them all, which I did previously on this device. But it doesn't get rid of them being planted on this device already, something they did yesterday. Oh, it looks like they've changed the settings so that doesn't even remove them anymore from this. Because I just pushed remove and they're still very much here. And remember, the laptop comes with their pre-installed bullshit, which includes the web store, which manages all of the extensions and applications on the device and has been pre-configured to eject and reject any sort of extra storage device to prevent the audio and video footage required for my murder. Something made possible with their last kidnapping in March, which was reported in August 2024, including the fact that they had intended to do exactly what they did and to shove their USB devices into my laptops and plant evidence and destroy evidence and tamper with evidence and yada, yada, yada. So I'm just going to go through here and I'm going to uninstall everything that I can uninstall, but there's some things that they've used, like they've rigged up Google TV, the calculator of all things, Google Books, the Play Store, the Chrome Web Store, so that you can't uninstall those because they have a bunch of shit on there for their hacks. See, Google TV. Messages I can get rid of, and they have a bunch of shit in here too. So I don't know why they let me get rid of this, because it shows there's a bunch of shit on that they are utilizing. Play Books is another one they got a bunch of shit on. Play Games is another one they got a bunch of shit on. Okay, so they've also got this shit, which I can't in process on. Service Android Process Media. I'm only going to read the ones that show that it's active and that an in process option is being blocked. Service.com Android vending background. Service.com Android vending. App.com Android providers calendar. App.com Android DYN system. DYN system. App.com Android one-time initializer. App.com Android local transport. App.com Android DYN system. App.com Android keychain. Service.com Android external storage. Service.com Google.Android.extension services. App.com Google Android desktop. Service.com Google Android permission controller. service.android.process.acore, app.com, google.android.playgames, service.com, Google Android contacts, app.com, Google Android TTS, app.com, Google Android package installer, app.com, Android shell, app.com, Android settings, app.com, Android remote provisioner. I'm trying to switch to the beta channel instead of being in developer mode. When I push change channel, like you just saw, it says change channel in Power Wash, but when I click on it, it doesn't actually power wash or change the channel. It power washes, but doesn't change the channel, rather. It just puts me in developer mode, which is what they've been doing for like the last 24 hours. See? Then even when it does power wash, it still doesn't change it. They won't let me change the location access for Google TV or Play Store because they want it to pretend like it's me when it's them upstairs, and they still don't understand that, like I've said repeatedly, the Bureau and the sheriffs have been watching them and can see very clearly which devices are doing what. This is a fact that the Bureau and the sheriffs don't really understand why any of the hackers upstairs thought that that would be prevented. Using Google Workspace did not help you. It just implicated you in showing that you're coordinating in your aggravated criminal conspiracy / domestic terrorist organization, which has one felony left to make actionable: my murder, without video or audio footage, to be deemed a suicide, because an Everett police officer was supposed to break down my door, claim that I did something to solicit a gunshot to the head. That's how the story was supposed to end. But the Bureau assures me that is not how the story is going to end. See, like I'm entering in that anytime that I start this laptop and I sign in, it should open immediately, www.tips.fbi.gov. It won't do that though, because they've got it programmed and rigged, both of these devices, that as soon as you sign out or power off, it just automatically power washes. You've got to go through and re-register your device, which they don't even allow to be registered because they're all about trying to block the ability to reach the Google server without going through all of them. And some are delusional enough to still believe that they're doing that right now. And the Bureau and the sheriffs have said they've never done that, but they have caught them destroying hundreds of pieces of evidence, believing they had file editing privileges that they haven't had all of 2025. See, here is where there are like manager certificates. They use fraudulent criminal Google certificates that they've planted on the devices to pretend to be Google to ingest their criminal cookies and whatnot. When I click it, even though you just saw this was power washed. Oh, they changed it. Look at that. Normally, I can't even open this. Normally, it tells me directly that I need a key fob, a security key that's upstairs. This is the first time I've been able to open the certificate manager. Let's see if the same thing is true with the fingerprints. Maybe that's why they've been forcing me to log into developer mode for the last 24 something hours. Let's try managing security keys. Create a PIN? Oh, no. You need the key fob upstairs that the Everett Police Department has. Fingerprints? Oh, no. You need the key fob upstairs that the Everett Police Department has. Reset my security key? Oh, no. You need the key fob upstairs that the stalkers, kidnappers, assaulters, thieves, fraudsters, attempted murderers, extortionists, co-conspirators, and domestic terrorists of the Everett Police Department have. All right, so we're going to connect to the internet, even though we know there's all these criminal Android applications. And we know that earlier today, those were used to attempt to terminate the live streams on the Lenovo ThinkPad while sending people illegally and criminally to bang on my door over and over and over again. And then the first place we're going to go is Gmail. Well, Google, actually, which is good. They got to get their Google cookies on here for anything that they try and do to work. Then we're going to click on Manage Your Google Account. And we're going to click on Security. I'm going to see that I changed my password yesterday like I addressed in the video. And look at that. Somebody upstairs is logged into this account on the phone. right now. Probably the phone using all of those Android apps, right? So let's try and kick them off of the phone. Successfully signed out on Android. Oh, look at this. We got a lot of people upstairs. We got 10 devices upstairs. We even got someone in Tacoma. And we still got another Android device right here. They just showed up on this Android device instead of just as the Android by itself. So we signed out of that. Sign out of all these. And they're thinking, oh, we'll just sign right back in because they override the system and have it set up so that they have enabled operating system verification or whatever. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep signing out all these devices. And then I'm going to change my password. See if maybe that prevents these apps from doing something to the YouTube live stream. And you might be thinking, well, why don't you just do this all the time if they do that? Half the time when I go in here where the devices are, I am not even able to sign out of any of them. 40 devices logged in, 5 cell phones upstairs, an iPhone, and an iPhone. And it's like, okay, you guys are fucking insane. So now I'm going to change my password, but changing the password doesn't really do anything because Unit 207, as you know, has a keystroke reader. They know everything that I'm typing. Duh. They've used it to destroy the Everett Police Department, if we go back in history, over 21 cell phones and laptops. They destroyed a lot of brand new expensive cell phones and laptops right before I reported them to the FBI for the first time in 2017. So since they know my password, I always try and send them a little message. Because I'm cool like that, I'm cool like that. Oh, wow. 4 different cell phones from June 6th to June 7th to June 8th to June 22nd. Okay. See, we've got 40 cookies here from Google. 40 of them. We got 11 cookies from YouTube. We're going to delete that. We're going to click back. We're going to manually attempt to delete all of the Google cookies except for the mail ones and the ones that we can't see because of their criminal and illegal partitions upstairs. The girl upstairs is not concerned about the fact that I changed the password. She's confident she's still logged into my account. She's trying to reassure the poor guy that listened to her. She's one of the individuals we all know is going to prison for the rest of her life. So still can't in process there. The live stream is still running, seemingly uninterrupted. It does look like We've eased off a bit on that, probably with the eager anticipation of me trying to watch a podcast and going around on this device where they've got it synced up on the Google Workspace I declined to join, and the apps for the phones and all their, all of their